This eclipse has me in a funky place. I filmed this multiple times. This is a reading for the eclipse, but the wisdom that's in it is timeless. I just want to make that clear, okay? High Priestess, bottom of the deck. What you are being confronted with in the near future, okay, is the bigness of life and your ability to cut through it and say certain things matter. Many, many, many things do not. This is a brave act of wisdom, like a brave and wise act. What I think has triggered your ability to do this has a lot to do with like burnout, you know, just like putting it simply, this is about burnout. It's about years and years of complete drain, and then the process of refilling and like the antsiness of like getting your energy back up, the desert that lives within you, okay, and healing that. Because I think, like, you know, there's this element of this that's just like a little angry and a little bit like, and you must have already worked through some of this, right? There's this part of you that's like a little bit resentful that you had to do it on your own, but you also had to go through that kind of intensity to get to a point of acceptance to where, you know what, like a lot of how I feel about what other people did, or what are the contributing factors to why I have to be this strong or wise or, you know, whatever, forgiving, is part of what doesn't matter. Not that it doesn't matter, you know, like in general, not as an act of invalidation, but as an act of healing and acceptance, right? And what is pulling you at this time, what is kind of pushing you forward at this time, because this is not, you know, life doesn't get easier when you get wiser. Life never gets easier. You just get healthier, right? So the bardo, the vow, and the lover, it came out like this. And then under the vow was the shaman. It's like what gets you through this intensity is the softening provided by a firm foundation, by a knowledge that of like, I have something to rely on, right? Whatever this vow is, whatever this promise is, be it within yourself, within a union, right? If you have a stable job, like whatever it is, even if it's just trust, you know, as you and the God of your understanding just holding hands right there, right? Excuse me. Oh my God, that was a big burp. There's something about like that knowledge that just creates this softening. It's acting as like a softening agent in the way that you are interacting with this experience, right? And it's showing up within you, right? It's coming out of you. It's being pushed out of you as a shamanic energy. The healer. This reading has a lot to do with your nervous system and the work that you've done to create a sense of inner safety and peace. How that work has translated into like basically just like poise, okay? Being a poised individual. I did have some tarot cards out, but you know, again, I filmed the whole thing and I just really was not like, I felt like I was in a daze the whole time. And so some of, you know, what you might be experiencing at this time, and this, I always get this with Virgo, some of what you may be experiencing is like just feeling brain fog or drain in your capacity to explain things, but like, or like just be present. One of the things that did come through was that like, whatever this is, whatever this potential for overwhelm is, the situation that you're deploying this sageness, this wisdom on, where you're really flexing that muscle, that situation was depicted as like the 10 of Wands and the Ace of Wands and like the Moon. There were a couple other cards in there. But it's just very clear that like your narrative is where a lot of your wisdom is doing this work. So I think that there's like an external source of stress, I'm like, is there ever not? But like there's like one person or one situation that's just like old and it's really, really nagging at you. And like in this situation, maybe, you know, in the coming days, this eclipse passing, right, the next 24 hours, 48 hours, however long, it's like it gets really close to you. It gets really in your face and you're like, so I use like the retired hot girl thing sometimes where I'm like, old you, right, you're acknowledging in that moment would probably skid out in some way. You might crash out, you might not handle it correctly, kind of cause a bigger divide. Maybe you'll pop off, like even if it's just in private, right? Whatever you would do to handle this, your reaction, right? Not response, is something that is dysregulating to you. It involves dysregulation, okay? But instead, what I said was your wisdom is working in your narrative, right? So there's a moment that is taken here with that Ace of Wands. There's a moment that's taken where you step back and you're like, wait, the story that I'm telling myself about this situation is just one-sided. I can only see my one side of it. So if I just change it, if I change what I'm seeing here, if I rewrite a portion of it, then my one side is going to look different. For example, if it's one person in your life who is just insufferable, and maybe they do something that causes a disruption, a big inconvenience in your life, right? They do something that you could very clearly, very easily, very readily take personally, right? Feels like disrespect, feels like disregard, not something you would ever do, okay? Just as an example. And then you take that moment, that Ace of Wands, and you wave that wand and you say, I don't need to look at this person that way, right? This person is going through the eclipse just like me and their dog just died, or like their radiator went out on their car. You know what I mean? Like they're a little dumb, you know, like whatever it is that you need to tell yourself to make it so that in that moment your load is lightened, you know, you can drop your shoulders, you can look at this situation. And like it's funny because last night on live I was joking, but it's so fucking real. I was joking that like I think I'm in my like life is good era, and that's kind of what this is giving, because it's like we've been beaten and battered so bad. Like who do you really see like wearing those like life is good t-shirts? It's usually like super crunchy granola people who are like on the trail, or it's like someone who's like in recovery and like is like older and wiser and like has gone through like, you know, various, you know, hardships and 12-step programs and all these things, you know, and they're like rocking a life is good t-shirt. And it's like I fucking think I made it there. Is this 30s? Like is this 31? Is that what's happening? By the way, I may or may not have put a wish list link in my bio if you want to send me a birthday gift. Anyways, this is kind of the era that we are in this situation, where you have an opportunity to again cut through and say, damn, a lot of that doesn't matter. A lot of that does not matter. A lot of that is rooted in something that just doesn't resonate with you. It's like wisdom within you has grounded in a way that it has not in the rest of the fucking world, right? You're kind of on your own with this one, understanding that you being on your own is not a bad thing, because those choices that you make ripple out and affect your reality, which really isn't that big in the context of Anima Mundi, right? Which can be scary, or it can be really, really grounding. You know, my life is actually very small and very simple, and I'm very fucking pleased with that, you know? There's like this thing that I used to say where like if everybody threw their problems into a pile and looked and like had the opportunity to swap, everybody would like look at everybody else's shit and say like, nah, I want mine, and you grab yours back, right? And that's just the truth. And I think that in this situation there's an influx, a palatable influx of gratitude that has been brought in and is affecting everything that you're touching. this is so good. I'm so proud of you.